Good morning, Superkickin with Steven fans. Your eyes do not deceive you. We are here back, ready to rock and or roll for another night of WrestleMania. Man, if night one was any indication, Greg, night two, we should be in for a good night.
Yeah, man. It's like we said yesterday that this is the one weekend where WWE stops being sports entertainment and is pro wrestling. And that's what it felt like last night because everybody from the top, KO and Stone Cold, all the way down to the first ones out the curtain, Boogs and Nakamura, everybody, they really turned their game up to 10 and broke the knob. Everybody brought their best foot forward, and it was an awesome show. Even those matches we were, tempted to hit the fast forward on, everybody brought it, and it was an amazing show.
Yeah, and there's definitely some little surprises here and there. I think prediction or result wise that we'll talk about, especially because when we get into NXT, definitely some interesting results there. So I say we just get right to it. Let's look at NXT. I did not realize this was going to be on the kickoff show, Greg, but as I turned it on at about 12:30, 12:40, this match was already happening. And then I thought I missed some other stuff, but this was a legit kickoff match. But Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai defeat Toxic Attraction to win the NXT Women's Tag Team titles. Now, technically this is their second run. The first run, I think they held for an hour, and then they lost that same night because they were the inaugural women's champions, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think my biggest thinking is I think we just got to unify them, have Raquel Dakota come up, whoever wins tonight. I just, I don't know. I mean, Toxic Attraction really did kind of, help make them mean something with them, JC Jade and Gigi. But if you're going to have Raquel and Dakota, and then, like I said, I think it's going to change hands tonight. I would rather see it down the road, probably just unify, and then the women's are just defended across brands. Then you can have kind of, especially if you're going to do this kind of main roster NXT, with Dolph Ziggler type. Why not? So, but were you surprised, Greg, to see that Raquel and Dakota picked up the win?
No, they started painting this weird picture, and you don't just tease a reunion like that and then
Not
have it
me at
end
all.
so quickly. Yeah. So kind of expected them to win now that they're reformed. Um, pretty much without any explanation because, why did they love each other all of a sudden? They just,
Mhm.
we've been beating each other's brains out for the past year, but I've missed you so much. So there's a whole lot of context missing there, but maybe it'll get explained as we go. Maybe it won't. But in the end, I think the whole point is to have a legit tag team to face the new women's champions, that'll get crowned tonight. And because the tag team division is dreadful in WWE on the women's side. So, at least this way you put a formidable tag team in front of, you know, predictably Sasha and Naomi.
And maybe if you Survivor Series, we include NXT this time, and then you can have the women's tag team titles. But maybe it's just a toxic relationship, Greg, of Dakota and Raquel. Eh? Eh?
Ah.
No. Anyways, I had that written down on my. No, I didn't. But anyways, yeah. Like you said, I hope that they give some explanation on Tuesday night. Like we always knew we'd come back together, or so I don't, something. You got to give some sort of explanation. But now I believe you did predict this one right, though. Cameron Grimes is our new North American title, especially with that
Hey.
little, tribute right before the show, or not, or whatever it was. They had him, saying, "I'm doing this for my dad" and whatnot. Some names in there, Greg. I guess let's look at. So obviously Cameron Grimes. I think he's gonna, carry the title. I guess that's the thing. Where do we see him carrying the title? Do you feel like he's going to be a transitional, maybe 3 to 4 month champion, maybe 6 to 8 months? I, I'm thinking more 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, that sounds about right. And, the other guys are just not ready yet. Waller's
Waller
right
got the
on the
biggest pop
cusp,
last
but
night.
he
I
still
mean,
needs some.
I think he got the biggest react. And now, granted,
Well,
he went through a freaking ladder, almost ripped off his
yeah,
arm,
with his elbow.
his elbows. So hopefully he's okay. But and that's what's funny too. Like you give him almost a sympathetic spot, but he's your biggest heel. So that's an interesting, dynamic to do there. What about Carmelo? Do we think maybe he goes after the NXT title? Maybe gets featured in those spots, or I don't know where he goes next.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much you can do with him, though. He is the most charismatic star
Hmm.
that they have right now.
Yeah.
He's money on the mic. He looks great. His ring work is solid,
Hmm.
and he always gives you an entertaining match. So
Yeah.
you can have him chase Cameron for a little bit. You can move him up to the world title picture
Hmm.
and have him in a ego off with Dolph Ziggler
Yeah.
or eventually Braun Breaker, which would be entertaining also. There's
Hmm.
so many things you could do with him. He's too soon for a main roster with him, but um, you can send him in any direction. You can make him and Trick a tag team.
Yeah. And
Um,
that's what. Yeah. I
so
almost wonder if they might do that route. That gives more seasoning to Trick Williams too, because obviously he probably needs it. So. And then Solo, we still think. I mean, if they do the draft in May-ish, maybe June, July, I think Solo's up. I think now's especially with the Usos winning last night. Granted, it sounds like they might have won because of the injury, but I still think they're going to win no matter what. And then if you have Roman still rolling, I mean, it just
right,
makes all sense. And then Santos, I still think Santos needs to be up too. I think Escobar just, I mean, it just feels like he needs to be up as well. But there's always so much room for everybody. So, yeah. What about Ciampa's last match in NXT? Nice little tribute with the water spitting of Triple H and the nice. I didn't
yep.
realize it was on Premium Plus Peacock, expensive, whatever. It's probably not. It's probably a little bit more. But anyways, at least they did show that moment because that was a nice little moment. And now, like we brought up Tony D'Angelo is going to be that next kind of maybe secondary heel right under Grayson Waller to kind
Yeah.
of get going. But a good little match, and I guess we'll see what Ciampa does on the main roster.
Yeah, it was definitely a good match to hang your hat on as you walk out the door. Um, they both was, crazy effort and super solid match. The crowd was really into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so very happy for Champa because this is he's on the way up. He's going to main roster, no doubt about it. Um, maybe SmackDown after next weekend or
Yeah.
this coming
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Um,
definitely. Especially because, like we said, he was in that battle royal, but that was Raw and SmackDown stars. So, we'll see where he goes and where he's positioned. But maybe upset of the night, MSK. Is this maybe make or break for them with the tag team titles?
yeah, it's got to be. I mean, just judging by the crowd reaction, doesn't seem like the crowd was very into it either. I mean, on the 3 count, of course, everybody pops for it, but throughout
I
the
don't think they
match, it was
really
kind
got the
of blah.
reaction. Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, the Creeds were so over, and that's why I was so surprised that you just didn't pull the trigger on them winning the titles. Um, but like, I mean, I don't. I guess it's probably because I guess we got to believe MSK still got about another year or two on a contract, so probably not that make or break, but still, now's the time to really see what you could do with them. I guess I don't know, but I'm really surprised that they went MSK with the tag team titles here. So probably no surprise, Mandy Rose ends up, retaining the title. I think Cora Jade proved me wrong. I think she does. She really carried her own in that match. I thought.
uh, I'm still not feeling her. I mean, like MSK, I see what they're getting at, but she hasn't really done anything to make me really want to root for her.
Yeah.
She had one awesome match or one awesome move on Kaylee Ray on the apron,
Mhm.
That was pretty sick. But aside from that, just kind of like a, you know, screaming 20-year-old in there,
Yeah.
flailing her arms and punches, and
Mhm.
you know, I'm not buying it on her. So hopefully she can, define her character some more, add some moves, and get better. And that's why they're down there, is to
Yeah.
hone their craft and add some layers to what they're doing. So
Mhm.
I'm not closing the book on her, but I'm still not there yet with her.
Yeah. Gunther picked up the big win. No big surprise there. Pretty solid match between LA Knight and him. And, like we've said all along, I think LA Knight main roster bound. But how about Dolph Ziggler defeating Braun? Does Braun get the call up, or are we good? Now, I guess there were spots to show that Braun still has a way to get into the title picture. I mean, do you think they want to pop a rating for like NXT Tuesday? Not this coming Tuesday, but some Tuesday. Maybe they'll call to, whatever special event, and then Braun wins then, or what are we doing with Braun right now?
Yeah, yeah, he is staying in the title chase for the championship. I mean, Ziggler's not going anywhere. It's going to
Mhm.
be a fun little rivalry, and it's way too soon for main roster. So it would be a huge mistake to bring him up now. He's not nearly ready. You can tell a couple of those spots in the match were pretty sketchy, and so he's still got some work to do. He looks like $1 million. He carries himself well in promos, and his matches are good and solid, but he's still got some work to do. You can tell by watching that match that there was
Mhm.
you know some missed carries, and
Yeah.
some Ziggler had to save him a couple times. So, but that's the point why he's down there, to get that training, get that seasoning, get that muscle memory.
Mhm.
So definitely too early for main roster, but he can stay in the mix for championship picture as long as he's down there. And another month or two, you find the next big premium event, maybe the one that piggybacks on SummerSlam, or what, Money in the Bank comes before SummerSlam, right?
Yeah.
So you could
Pretty
do it
much we
Money in the Bank
got,
weekend.
yeah, we got Backlash. I wonder if, oh, Hell in a Cell in June, because that's in Chicago. Then I believe Money in the Bank, then SummerSlam. So we got, quite a bit of, time between. And then, like I said, I almost wonder if you might try to pop a rating on Tuesday night and give him the title, just to kind of let that marinate. But, we'll kind of, I guess technically he did win it at Halloween Havoc, which was on a Tuesday night. So what,
True.
what surprised me, I guess, if he, because right now, who else? I mean, Gunther probably coming after the title, I would think.
Yep.
Um, I mean, like we said, maybe Carmelo, maybe Waller just gets a title shot just to kind of see what he could do. I don't think he's going to win it, but there's not many names, right now that I feel like are ready to step it up with Dolph yet. So,
Right.
um,
Especially since all the names you mentioned are pretty much heels.
yeah,
So,
and that's the downfall right now.
and
So,
then so you have Breaker, and then who's next?
yeah.
Grimes has the North American title now, and um, LA can't win a match to save his life,
Hmm.
and there's not really a line behind them. So
That is pretty interesting to notice that it's very heavy on the heels, and that's why I thought maybe Braun. Well, that's why I assumed Braun would have won because you'd have all those heels chasing him. Because right now it's Braun Breaker as the the heavy face, and then Cameron Grimes, and that's about it. I mean, there's not a heavy face crowd down there right now. So that's really all I got for Stand and Deliver. Anything you want to cap off with that? We'll take a quick commercial break after that and get into WrestleMania Night One because there's a few things to talk about there, right?
yeah, a few, yeah. It just props to everybody involved in that ladder match. That ladder match was insane. Um, Anybody who hasn't watched it yet, go do it because they really brought it. This is the first time that a NXT pay-per-view uh, in the 2.0 era felt like a black
That's
and
what
gold
that's what I was
takeover.
going to ask you. Like this felt like, I mean, the crowd was, plus it had a pretty good sized crowd. I mean, I don't know
Yeah,
what the attendance was, but you're that's what I kept seeing at the Twitter feed. The social media cues were saying this felt like a legit, a real takeover event.
right.
And that's really on the talent. I mean, we keep talking about that. It's time to shut up or put up or shut up, as they say. And I thought everybody kind of carried themselves well, and hopefully that translates now to Tuesday nights and kind of keep that momentum rolling. So
Yeah.
let's do a quick commercial break for Rogue Energy, and then man, we got a few things to talk about for WrestleMania Night One. It was a hot event. So I feel like with WrestleMania Night One last night, there's something that came out of every match, practically, Greg. We don't have to get too deep in some matches, but just to start off the night, the Usos defeating Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. The big story there is, of course, well, first off, sponsored by Mike's Hard Lemonade, the new tag team. I guess there's only time, Greg, before some wrestler, some tag team would be sponsored by some product. I'm still waiting for the Snickers to be sponsoring somebody with all the damn Snickers commercials we see. So I'm sure there'll be some match tonight dedicated to Snickers. But you know, I thought Nakamura looked finally kind of like him, old, like Nakamura of old. I really thought, the entrance, he seemed to just be taking it all in and all that. But unfortunately, Rick Boogs, he gets hit with an injury halfway through or towards the end, and it sounds like a legit injury. They carried him
Mhm.
off. The doctors had to look at him. So now my downfall is, my downside is thinking now, what's Nakamura going to do? Even though we know he can do singles run, I feel like they really want to push him with Rick Boogs. So do you think Nakamura gets a little time as a singles guy, or now does he go to the side and have to wait till Rick Boogs gets back?
Yeah, you could do either. I would love to see him go on a singles run, but who are you going to, send him after? I mean, you're going to do face versus face against Ricochet the
The IC.
for his title.
Yeah.
Um, there aren't many places for him to go really to make sense. You're not going to put him in a program with Roman right now,
Mm-hmm.
and even if Brock wins, that's not going to make any sense either. So it is kind of a thing where maybe you take some time off until Boogs is ready. Um, Great match for as long as it lasted, and this is what I was saying. You could tell everybody was on their A game. They were all the way turned up,
Mm-hmm.
and the Usos were the Usos. It was great. I'm really heartbroken for Boogs. This being his first, WrestleMania, his
Yep.
first chance in the show, and to go down, on a spot like that, which you'd say is unnecessary because we've seen him do that move, multiple times. But again, it's WrestleMania. You want to show all your best stuff. You want to, you got more eyes on you right now than you ever have, in your life. All the people watching around the world, everybody in the stadium, and so you feel like why he feels like he's Superman. He can, do that move the way he did. It just went bad for him. So
Mhm.
get well, boobs. Easy for me to say, but
Now he'll just build up those legs even more because man, his top half is good, is there, but now you got to build up that bottom half, and obviously, if you get
yeah,
surgery, you can build up the strength again. But I like the way commentary kind of covered it up as well, like saying,
yeah,
Jimmy jumped on top to cause cause Boogs not to pick him up. So I because I don't know, I think I assume they knew he was probably hurt right away, so it was a good way
yeah.
to try to and well, McAfee scared me right off the bat when he jumped off that the table. I thought, oh God, he's gonna like split an ankle or sprain his ankle or tear something with that jump he had. I was like, so that was I just couldn't get over Mike's Hard Lemonade plastered all over the guitar amps. I mean, all over there. Like Nakamura almost looked like a flaming like bag of Cheetos or something like that, or Doritos. So I was like, just give me the Nakamura with white or black or red. Like that's all I need Nakamura in. I don't need him in hot, bright orange, whatever, but and yellowish. So Drew McIntyre, the first man ever to kick out of End of Days. Like that's pretty legit. So he has to be in the title picture next, Craig, right?
Well, I don't see why not. I mean, he's got that history with both guys,
Mm-hmm.
and now he doesn't have to go through it in the uh, you know no crowd era. He's going to
Yeah.
get his full appreciation for when the rivalry resumes, and you have to figure that him being in such a hot garbage type of feud for WrestleMania, that there's got to be a payoff down the line for him, and this is probably it. So, um, the match is what it is. It was fine, next, but I'm looking forward to better days ahead for Drew. So, you know, good
And
win, and
prob sorry.
you know,
I was gonna say probably his fault that the New Day match got cut, literally, because he cuts the ring ropes and they're still fixing it, in the next match when the Mysterios are trying to come out there. So that might have been the delay that kind of cut the New Day and Sheamus and Ridge from the thing. So hopefully Drew gave them a little apology, because who knows if they thought. I think they thought they were going to get it fixed quicker, and like they were still fixing it, when they came back. So because one thing, Greg, we didn't get enough video packages last night.
oh man, no.
Not at all. So, which I understand, but well, that's the thing with Drew. The title picture, he's not gonna win it anytime soon. So, do you just have him keep losing in title matches? Because I can't see Roman losing. And if Brock retains it, both them tonight, I don't see him beating. Well, I guess he could maybe beat Brock, but I don't see him beating Roman for the titles. Do you?
No, I don't. Um,
So that's why it's hard. I mean,
he's
I want him in the title picture because where else can he go? I mean, if he goes to IC title, I mean, you might as well beat Ricochet because what I mean, and then maybe he can try to build that up like the Miz, type, but or do some open challenge. But yeah, Drew's an interesting position. I don't know if it was a safe feud. Maybe they thought the neck injury was a little more legit. I mean, he did come back right away, it seemed like, but maybe they just wanted to put him in something kind of, under the radar to see if everything was working fine. And
yeah,
now they know, but or maybe he wins Money in the Bank, so you can just hold on to that for a little bit, and then when they think he's ready to cash in, he can cash in. But I just feel I'm kind of conflicted with Drew because I really want to see him win the title, but at the same time, I don't think that he's going to be the one to beat Roman. So yeah, he's in an interesting spot to say the least. So how about the Miz turning on Logan Paul? Are we going to see the Miz and Logan Paul at WrestleMania Backlash? Because I mean that's 4 weeks away or whatever it is. Do you think Logan Paul is around for like a short run, Greg?
yeah. Unfortunately, um, I'm
Or could
happy
it be
with.
just more the Miz just showing it's all about the Miz and we just kind of move on?
Yeah, I'm happy with it just being a one-off.
Yeah.
Um, However, you know, you want to, close the story with the whole Logan Paul thing, and I don't think this is the end of it, just from the way they left it. Um, so, extend it 4 more weeks, have them do a little, banter in the ring, see if
Mhm.
Logan can get, the crowd on his side and get his, payback before he leaves. But um, I think there's going to be, a one-on-one. It, yeah, sadly,
Mhm.
I don't think anybody wants that. He
Yeah,
was
because
no,
Logan Paul does not have a face that people want. And oh my God, Jake Paul on the pre-show, I don't even think the commentators knew what to do with him because he was just out of his mind with what he just yeah, he was all over the place. So, and how about Logan Paul coming out with that rare Pokemon card just wearing as a necklace? I'm like, what in the world is going on? So, yeah, like you said, I'm hoping it just is a Miz one-off thing. We're just showing it's all about the Miz, and we move on. LA Knight comes out, and Miz and LA Knight start feuding. So,
yeah,
um, and nothing really to write home about. I mean, Logan Paul looked fine. I didn't think and they even brought up Bad Bunny from last year. So,
right. He's no
that
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny was just a once in a celebrity generation that happened. You just worked out right. But, so, um, how about Bianca Belair defeating Becky Lynch and Bianca now 2-0 at WrestleMania, I believe. So I joked with my family, Greg, 19 wins away from hitting the Undertaker 21-0. But anyway, so probably match of the night, second match of the night.
Yeah, I give it match of the night for sure.
I thought they pulled and Becky pulled out some stuff that we haven't seen from her, and I think even Bianca pulled out some stuff. Like this was the this probably should have been the SummerSlam match that people wanted,
Hmm.
but we got the match that is the redemption story, and ultimately that's what we needed out for Bianca. And now she should start rolling, and it'll be interesting where Becky goes though, because I feel like I always want Becky the title picture, but then also at the
Yeah,
same time, Becky probably needs a break from the title picture.
yeah. And I was thinking the same thing you were thinking with the moves. I remember one of my favorite things about WrestleMania used to be, and I think they kind of got away with it from this, but there was a good long stretch of time where every WrestleMania, a wrestler somewhere would break out a new move that we hadn't seen before.
Mhm.
And that was the thing I look forward to every year. And I'd say for at least a good decade, every year somebody unveiled a new move that was awesome. It wasn't a finisher most of the time,
Mhm.
but it was still a move that stuck out. Like
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar doing the shooting star on Kurt Angle, almost breaking his
Mhm.
neck. Just something that we're so used to seeing them all year, and then they break out this new move. We know we haven't seen that before, and
Or
they got some moves
Cesaro
in
last
Oz.
year, he brought
Right?
out the UFO spin or whatever they called it. So, and he
Yeah,
said he hasn't pulled that off in decades or years. So that was kind of cool to see last year.
yeah, exactly. And that's what I was thinking with Bianca when she did that 450.
Hmm.
I was like, have I ever seen that before? And
Yeah.
because that seemed like a very new move. And then
Hmm.
Becky too with that inverted suplex off the top rope
Hmm. Hmm.
on Bianca. So they definitely just brought it, and hands down match of the night. Loved the finish. That KOD was picture perfect,
Hmm.
and you couldn't have ended it better. So, congrats Bianca. And Becky, she deserves some time off. That's the route. Go reinvent yourself a little bit, and yeah, it's interesting to see where she goes because she's only been back since SummerSlam. So
Yep.
how do you reposition her now?
Or do you make her more, I hate, almost psychotic? Or, more like,
Her
maybe trying to
husband?
get yeah, like her. Well, that's the thing. Like now that it was a tough night for the Rollins Lynch household, Greg. Um, I mean, in a way, it was probably their best night when you consider they had the top two matches of the night. But yeah, in kayfabe, it was a rough night for them. But yeah, in the end, I mean, everybody's talking about them because of what they were able to do. And we'll get right into it. I've never been more happy to be wrong, but damn Raphael talking me into the Undertaker route last night, Greg. I This cost me my scorecard with my family. We did our little predictions and scoring round, and um, Cody Rhodes back in WWE. Some people say, Greg, this was the end game all along. I still don't. I think in a way he didn't realize it was the end game until like recently, like trying to get back. You know what? Like I truly think he left because he had to prove himself, and I think he want. I think he wanted to stay out because he probably thought, well, if I go back, they might just. But some people are saying, oh, he knew he was doing this 6 years ago or whatever. I mean, some people are good planners, Greg.
Yeah.
But that would be a very long end game. So, but he has everything back. The Kingdom song, the look. I mean, it's Cody Rhodes, and it was awesome to see him. Like you could tell that there was a little bit of emotion there, and man, he was beat up. Like I don't know if he had been taking bumps in a couple months, Greg, but I mean, he had a goose egg on his head. He had his back was all beat up,
Yep.
and then Seth was pulling out moves. What he do? The inverted suplex, I believe, into the Dragon Sleeper, or was
Yeah, he did.
that Cody or what? Yeah. So I think Seth Rollins wanted to prove himself to Cody in a way, because it's been a while since they've wrestled each other. I mean, I still think back to the Shield and like Goldust and Stardust
Hmm.
feud, which was so awesome. That's when they saved their jobs in a way and got all that. But I mean, Cody Rhodes back. It's going to be interesting to see where he is positioned though, because is he the one to dethrone Roman? Probably not. But where is he going to go? That's going to be the telling sign. So, and then Seth has been on quite the losing streak. Isn't him? It's probably time for Seth to get some payoff. Maybe a two-time Money in the Bank winner or something like that. So both these guys should be interesting. I kind of feel like they're going to feud over the summer because you could have Cody say, or you have Seth saying he's a visionary. Cody could be like, I am one, like legit. I went out and helped form a company. So do you see them kind of feuding over the next couple months, Greg?
I would love it if they did. Um, this match was, like you said, the second best match of the night, and I had a few thoughts about this match as I was watching it. Was
Mm-hmm.
um, first of all, I just a couple weeks ago was complaining about every wrestler having a blackout before he
Yeah.
appears, and I mean, the last one we just saw was for Buddy Murphy. I mean, Buddy Murphy doesn't deserve a blackout, but the way they did this one,
I
this
still thought it was Taker till the end.
exactly, this is how you use a blackout.
Yeah, yeah.
To okey doke and get everybody thinking one way and then go the other. Um, and when the lights go out and a world full of pyro explodes and then everything goes dark and everybody gets their lighters out, everybody's thinking Undertaker. And
Mm-hmm.
then when the rest is more than one royal family,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody's like, "What?" Because I know that's what
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
And it took a minute for it to click in. Oh crap, it's Cody. And then
Mm-hmm.
coming up from the bottom of the stage and the big entrance uh, and the song. I mean, AEW Cody is in WWE. I mean, that
Yeah.
was completely unexpected. We expected him to come back, yeah, but to be in complete AEW gimmick, wow. I mean, that was totally unexpected.
I mean, I don't think he was going to come back if he couldn't do it the whole package, like he said.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm just shocked that Vince let that go. I mean,
mhm.
you figured there'd be some tweaking. I'm sure the name stays, but you know, tweaking some things, but everything the same gear, the same music, the same
Mhm.
presentation as before. Wow, I'm surprised that he
Well, you
signed off
think
on that.
doesn't Vince probably almost gives Cody credit for doing like for having that ball, having the balls to do that almost in a way to go out, prove him wrong. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because Vince has always said, you got to grab the brass ring, you got to prove me wrong. So I
right.
think Vince was okay bringing him back in the fold. And there's some quotes coming out that with Variety magazine that Cody told him, I'm bringing the whole package, and Vince is like, well, if it ain't broke, which is kind of funny because there are a few things broke, but anyways, so yeah,
Yeah.
it. So where do you think Cody's going to go though after this?
Um, well, I'm all in on the whole um, feud with Seth.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like they're going to turn him heel. So Seth is a great opponent, and they can
Yeah.
go back and forth for a good couple months.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those promos are going to be great. Um, and those two, just based off that match last night, those two are going to give us some bangers of matches going forward. And this is just, the first taste. Now you can,
Mm-hmm.
you know, add in, gimmick matches and things like that. So I think it's only going to get better. But
Can
this
we
is a good
bring
way
in
to,
Brandy and Becky?
oh, absolutely. I don't see why you wouldn't. I'm sure Brandy's going to sign her name on the contract with him. So
Yeah.
um, you can make use of her.
Of course, the downfall is Brandy is nowhere near Becky's level. So that, that's going to be tough because, we haven't seen much of Brandy wrestling wise that makes me believe she's got, she has the full package yet. But
Yeah,
um,
and they didn't boo Cody, which was something I
no.
was looking forward to
Oh, yeah.
seeing. Is now Raw after WrestleMania may be a whole different thing, but I was waiting to see how they were going to treat him reaction wise, and you can see in those exchanges where each one takes turns punching the other
Mhm.
that Seth was getting the boo and Cody was getting the yay, and so at
I
least
think
for
he's
this
going to be
one
a
night,
face. I think he's going to get the hero's welcome on night after Mania. And, I'd probably put him in the opening, like maybe kick it off, just to let him soak that all in and give his return speech and all that. So, and maybe Seth interrupts it to kind of spoil the welcome. But that's the thing too. It's
hmm
probably who he's positioned against.
yeah,
You know, right now it's probably got to be Seth Rollins or The Miz. Like those are your top heels kind of on Raw. I think that's the thing too. I'm going to assume Cody's on Raw more so than SmackDown for now.
right.
But yeah, it should. I mean, and then like we see, where does Seth go? Because does he become more unhinged? So maybe he comes a lunatic fringe. Anyways, so
Hey, it'd be fun.
how about Charlotte and Ronda? Charlotte retaining. That
Yeah,
was a surprise.
it was a surprise. I started to, you know, doubt it a little bit with Bianca winning because I don't think it happens too often that both
Oh, the
belts
faces.
change hands.
Yeah.
Um, and I guess now we know why the match wasn't deemed a submission match because you need a place to go from here.
Yeah.
And with the screwy finish,
So
and
backlash
this, yeah, backlash, maybe have a legit
submission match.
submission match because, she was tapping out in the armbar when Ronda comes out on Monday night. She
We
can
got a
reference
ref
that, pull
spot. We
up the
never get a
video.
ref spot in women's matches either, I feel like.
Yeah,
Or not
exactly.
often. I can't recall a ref spot, like a legit that ref bump. Maybe we have recently, but um, so that because that's the thing too. Usually with those ref bumps, you're like, well, who's going to come out? Who's going to? But obviously, it was showing the tap. I Some people are calling it the worst match for women's side. I didn't think it was bad. It just, like we said, it didn't seem to have that oomph it needed. But I thought they carried themselves. I don't know. It seemed fine to me.
Yeah, it seemed like a good match. It was a solid match. It wasn't, 5 star, this
I
is
mean, we
awesome
see why
type
it
of
was
match,
not the
but
main event.
right.
I mean, yeah, but we kind of knew that all along. So, because I don't know if you saw that apparently Ronda Rousey walked out of the Hall of Fame taping because she found out she wasn't the main event, but then she worked the match last night. So it's like things must have been okay. But yeah, I still would have put Bianca and Becky at the end if we didn't have, if we did not have what we had last night, which I know you called, Greg. So good call on that.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
almost a 20-minute, was about 15, 20-minute match, I think,
About, yeah.
or whatever it was. Stone Cold defeats Kevin Owens, raises hell, as it says on WWE official results. So Stone Cold held his own. I thought he was like 52, 53. I come to find out he's 57. So that threw me for a loop. But um, Kevin Owens has raised his stock up to ridiculously high levels, right, Greg? I mean, Kevin Owens' stock can't get any higher now.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, this is why, he's not in AEW right now because WWE can promise something like this to him. And, he's never had more eyeballs watching him than he did in that 20 minutes last night. And it's the perfect send off. It had to be a match. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
top WrestleMania with the top segment. And, those reports, there's rumors, things that go along, but, him having a ring built at his property on his ranch,
Yeah.
you don't build a ring if you're just planning on having a talk segment.
Yeah.
And I loved how Kevin did it, you know, doing 90% of the talking and just leaving Stone Cold to react, and then, call the match on and just have a knockdown, drag out type of fight, which exactly what it was, just a fight. And then, stunner, pour some beers, and perfect way to close out the night. Everybody goes home happy and, on a big high, and we carry that to tonight.
And go get your Stone Cold beer. I don't know how I kept joking with my family because I watched it with them. And man, how many times did we get that camera shot of the beer in the corner of the ring? Like, I mean, that's Segunda, whatever it is. I mean, my brother even looked it up. So for us to get a 12-pack delivered here, Greg,
Oh,
just
really?
take a guess on how much mud it would be.
Oh my goodness. To deliver it to Indianapolis?
Yep.
Ooh, what about $20 shipping?
Well, yeah, I guess overall it'd be 84 bucks. A 12-pack of
Oh,
beer. So I'm like, I think we'll wait till it's more readily available. I'm not a drinker anyway, but I did joke. I'm like, well, I almost would have drank just a little bit just for that last night. But yeah, I think I'll pass on paying 84 bucks for a 12-pack of beer that I'll probably have one sip of and be done with. So I'll keep using DoorDash though to pay 25 bucks to get my McDonald's delivered here when Missy doesn't want to get out of bed. But I don't know about beer delivered here. So yeah, that was kind of funny to see. But and then good old Byron. I was hoping he'd get us out of his shoes. I was really hoping he'd pull the Michael Cole route and have the shoes come off. But Corey Graves was the best during that when he's just like, yes, it's happening, it's happening. And I was just like, oh, Byron, don't fall for it. So
right? Everybody knew it for him.
yeah, but
Just
yeah,
great.
so but yeah, night one really. I mean, there wasn't much to complain about. Much to kind of get down. I mean, like I said, some people really went to town on the Charlotte Ronda. I feel like they were going to go town on it anyway. It could have been a great match, Greg, and I felt like people were just kind of putting it in that we're going to hate it no matter what. You know what I'm like? I
Yeah.
felt like they kind of gave that stigma to it. So it should be interesting to see where they go. And Ron or I was going to say real quick too. Kevin Owens had that huge cut on his arm. Then the beard, and it was like, oh my god, that cannot feel good. Like,
Right.
hopefully it's not a strong alcohol proof or whatever. Because man, like that thing just kept pouring in there. I'm like, oh, that is not. So But I just couldn't believe Stone Cold, taking bumps at 57 years old. And I mean, yeah, he didn't. At times, he looked a little obviously slower.
Sure.
Nothing beats him getting the ATV to come down to the ring. Because I did joke, I'm like, well, if Undertaker was going to come down, he needs a golf cart or something just so we don't have to wait forever. But yeah, so and yeah, anything else, Greg, from WrestleMania Night One that caught your eye that we missed?
Yeah, I was super impressed with Stone Cold with how well he performed. No, it was a great of match as we can expect. Like you said, I'm a 57-year-old man. It beats the crap out of watching 60-year-old Sting over on AEW.
Yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
and stop hating on Charlotte and Ronda. The match was great. Well, not great, but above average. At least say above
Yeah.
average. Ronda's wrestled like one singles match since her return,
Mm-hmm.
and that was a kind of a joke of a match with Sonya. And so after what 3 years,
Mm-hmm.
come back and having a high profile match at WrestleMania, it's going to be bumpy, but both women, carried themselves really strong, and the match was strong. So, stop hating on Charlotte and Ronda because you're going to see more of it. I'm pretty sure that Ronda's going to come out and show the footage of Charlotte tapping, and that's
Oh
how we're
yeah.
going to get a continuation in a real submission match. So um, I'm sure that's going to happen. Plus, the outfits for Charlotte and or not Charlotte, but Becky
Bianca.
and Bianca.
Bianca.
Holy
Oh yeah.
smokes,
Yeah.
those entrances were amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Becky coming out in the SUV,
Mm-hmm.
and then Bianca getting the marching band and
Oh
coming
yeah.
down. The gear was fire. So just loved the entrances that they gave everybody. Just full of spectacle.
and
As we expect nothing less from WWE. So
and
awesome night one.
a lot of times Bianca makes her own gear, which is so crazy to think. Like just her sitting in her hotel room or something, or sitting at home and sewing her own gear. Like that seems like something an independent wrestler who's like
Yeah,
trying to make a buck would do. But she definitely does it. So
and it looked
um,
amazing.
yeah, definitely. There was one more. Oh, I was gonna say, I wonder if I brought up NXT TV. I almost wonder if they might do Charlotte and Ronda on like a Super SmackDown or something like that to kind of pop the rating. Maybe make that the main event. But like we said, we got Backlash coming up, so I would assume
Yeah.
we'll wait till Backlash. But yeah, I was just kind of curious if they might go that route. But we'll kind of see where things go. So let's do our last commercial breaks real quick for Elite Performance, and then right into Sean Nugent for some realty talk and get your predictions for night 2 of WrestleMania. Oh, real quick, let's get the other commercial.
What is up, everybody? It's your boy Dan over at BWSPORTS1.com and Black and White Sports. And I'm wondering if you're ready to buy or sell that home, now's the time, and I got just the person for you. Mr. Sean Nugent, a.k.a. Rockstar Realtor himself. 317-503-8322. Put that home on the market. Get into your dream home with this man. Talk to Sean at Talk to Tucker today, 317-503-8322, and make sure you tell him the boys over at BWSports1.com sent you.
All right, so this is happening tonight. I think we said it last night. All New Day. I don't see any reason for Ridge and Sheamus to win this. But New Day and Sheamus, Ridge get the call tonight. Wouldn't surprise me if it's open in the night. Just kind of let that play out. So, give the New Day a fun entrance, and Ridge and Sheamus can have their entrance and play that out. So, any change from yesterday, Greg, on this match?
Here we go. Unification Sunday. I got mine ready. Where's your strap, Stephen A? Where's your strap? We got a
Yeah, I need to get that. I got like 3 or 4 straps. I need to get them out. I'm working on this room here. I still got some stuff to add on, obviously.
All right. I don't see any straps on that bookcase of yours. It's trying to
not yet.
Trying to turn it up.
I need a bigger bookcase if I want to do the. I need to trying to figure out where I want to do stuff in Steven's Studio 2.0. So we're still working out the kinks here, but yeah, we'll see where things go. How about this?
Well, as long as we're talking about straps, I'm taking New Day. I think in the.
Yeah.
I'm still sticking with New Day in this one. That have a good, fun beginning of the night. So yeah.
I kind of hope it opens just so it gives them the love from last night. I mean, yeah, like I said, I think between Cody Rhodes' entrance taking a little bit longer and Drew cutting the ring in half. Hopefully he apologized to his best friend Sheamus for that. So yeah, but anyways, also it's funny. I don't know if you saw, Greg. So Sheamus put a pair of scissors, and then the Acclaimed Bowens, Anthony Bowens, I think is his name. He's like, everyone loves the Acclaim. So he put a tweet out to Sheamus saying that. I thought that was, since they kind of do the scissors looking high five. So how about this one, Greg? Are you still on Sasha and Naomi all the way?
All the way. That's not even a question. The other 3 teams don't even make sense anymore. So let's just end our misery and put it on the real team.
Now they've been getting all the upper hand, though, Greg. Are you going with the no matter what?
Yep, no matter what. New champs tonight. Sasha and Naomi.
You can already tell I'm leaning towards the underdog. I'm going towards Liv and Rhea. I really want Liv to have a WrestleMania moment. I know Sasha probably deserves it more. I believe Sasha is defeated at WrestleMania, so she probably has earned it. But they just won last night or Friday night. They just won. Like, I keep feeling like Sasha and Naomi are getting all the upper hand, and it just, I don't know. I could see Rhea and Liv stealing it somehow. So I'm going Rhea and Liv. Greg is dumbfounded by that, so that's okay. How about this one?
You could be wrong.
I know I could be wrong. I've been wrong. It won't be the first. It won't be the last. I've been wrong plenty. I was wrong last night. So this one, I'm going to go first. I'm going to call for the Street Profits. I feel like we've already had RK Bro hold it. We've had Alpha Academy. Now, like you said, I would like to see a little bit different side of Street Profits, but I just feel like they're kind of the odd team out. Now, that would be weird. We're going to change all kinds of titles, but I do think this is Street Profits for the win, Greg. How about you?
Absolutely. I'm Team Street Profits. I'd love to see them have a WrestleMania moment. And, this is the perfect time to do it. The belt's been jockeyed back and forth between Alpha and RK Bro, and it's time for Street Profits to get their turn again. They've gone a while without the straps. And I mentioned it a couple weeks ago, but I'd still like them to go heel for a little bit, add a little extra juice to their presentation. It worked wonders for the Usos when they finally went heel. I think you do the same thing for the Street Profits. Just have a moment in the match where, a chair shot behind the referee's back, ends up being the kill shot, and we got new champs.
Or even stealing the pin. Like, I kind of wonder if they might do that kind of where it's under the radar type, but it's still. But now with Bianca being a face champion, I feel like Montez and Angelo I think they're going to kind of stay face as well. So, but it would be cool if Bianca could come out and celebrate with
Yeah.
Montez. I was hoping, after he wins. So we'll kind of see if that happens. But I was kind of surprised you went Street Profits because I kind of felt like they were the under the radar winner here. But I should have looked at our odds. I forgot to bring up our odds, so I'm curious to see where the odds are laying for this match. So Rafael cannot join us; he was a little busier this morning, so it'd be interesting to get his read on this. So, how about this one, Greg?
Well, Johnny Knoxville does a better job than Logan Paul did last night.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a fun match, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a whole lot of weird objects that we don't usually see in a anything goes type of match.
Yeah.
Jackass style. So I am going to go against my better judgment and say Johnny Knoxville is going to win.
And I'll go the opposite. I think Sami Zayn wins. Here's my far-fetched, that's never going to happen, Greg, idea, but you already know where I'm going. Kevin Owens comes out and helps him or something like that. Like, I would love this. If it's anything goes, maybe Kevin Owens kind of gets some sort of, because I'm still all in, Greg, on my Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn tag team. I know they've already done it back in their independent days, but man, I would love to see them kind of do it again. But with the way both guys are now and just the position they are, but I don't think it happens, but that would be my fantasy booking that I kind of would love to see. KO helping Sami Zayn in a roundabout way to kind of give him the win. And then they never cross paths again or something weird like that. So I'm going to call Sami Zayn, though, to pick up the win. I just feel like Knoxville's got all the upper hand. We had Logan Paul win last night. So sorry, Johnny, like you got to eat the L tonight. So this is the one. I have no effing clue which way to go, Greg. Like with Lashley, I don't want him in that spot of having to put over guys already. Right? I mean, it's a weird spot for him to be in this. Do we get some weird finish that both guys maybe double count out, maybe double DQ, so backlash can lead to something? But so I'm going to say, Greg, I'm going to call it no winner here, just because I know that's a total cop out, but I feel like there's got to be some fluky finish to keep it going, and because I don't think Lashley coming back from injury can lose. Almost is obviously their cash cow or their big cow right now, so he can't lose. So I'm calling for no finish or no DQ or no contest, something like that, to give us no clear winner tonight. How about yourself?
I totally agree with that. I love this matchup because when Almost was out there, calling out anybody to face him, we forgot about Lashley, and so it's a fun thought to look at this match and go, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to be a banger, literally. And you look at it, it's like, okay, who's going to win? So it's fun. I agree that it should end in a non-finish. I was thinking of him, fighting up into the crowd and getting counted out.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I was going to say real quick, do you think the crowd's going to be more in favor of Lashley? It feels like they are on Lashley's side. Do we kind of see a face run for Lashley? Or is it just because of this feud that it feels like the crowd is more on his side?
I think it could be a face run, just given the fact that when he came out to answer the challenge that there was no MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
So he's kind of the symbol of Lashley being heel. So if he's going to do this run without MVP, he's probably doing it as a face.
Could we bring the Hurt Business back in a face side?
You could.
I mean,
the Hurt Business was mega over while they were having their run, so there's no reason you can't do it again.
Yeah, I don't.
For the
Should he?
purpose of this prediction, though, I will just to
Yeah,
be
sorry.
contrarian,
Uh-huh.
give the win to Almost and give him his first WrestleMania
And
moment.
it wouldn't, I mean, it wouldn't surprise us in a way if he got the win, because like I said, I called all along for him to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal if they were going to have that on WrestleMania. So if he wins, I mean, then what's next? That's what's interesting. If he beats Lashley, shouldn't he get the title? Like who can't beat him? That's probably the weirdest thing about it. But
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to kind of see where this match goes tonight. But just like this one, I've gone back and forth so much, Craig. I'm going to call McAfee because I feel like he hasn't got any upper hand at all in this. And I mean, yes, because I think Theory will be fine. And I don't know. It just feels like McAfee needs to get that, at least that one up over it. Maybe Backlash, maybe Theory comes out on top in the war or something like that, that type. But I guess the bigger question is, does Vince involve himself? Which I will say yes as well. I think he slaps McAfee, which gives me the reason to give McAfee the win ultimately.
This aside from Brock and Roman, this is my favorite match of the night.
Oh,
Uh, just because Pat McAfee won me over after I saw that match with him and Adam Cole.
yeah.
That match was, I did not expect what I got out of him, and it made that match so much better.
Yeah.
He was feeling like the equivalent of, the special celebrity guest in a match, and it being just a, nothing match. But that match was 5 stars, hands down. And those of you who are listening to us and haven't seen that match, Pat against Adam Cole, go watch it. You'll thank me later.
And War Games. I mean, Pat held his own at War Games.
True.
Mhm.
So
So
for this
this
match,
is his only third match ever, right?
yeah, on WWE TV, yeah, third match. So
That's
dude's
crazy.
doing well for himself.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it too analytically. Um, if Austin wins, he brags, yeah, beat, Pat McAfee, and he's on a crazy win streak
Mhm.
and been beating, my guys Ricochet and Finn Balor lately, which I still hate that, but
Could Finn make a spot in here maybe to kind of even the odds if Vince is out there?
it's possible, yeah. One of McAfee's crew could come down and back him up. Um, he has 2 other guys, on his talk show that back him up there. Maybe one of them come out with him or something like that. He always talks about AJ Hawk. AJ Hawk has turned
Mm,
up on WWE TV before.
mhm.
Um, so, any of that's possible. Love Austin Theory and everything he's been doing since he came up from NXT. Um, one of the guys who's developed the right way and
Mhm.
been better on the main roster than he was in NXT, which is something we can't say for very many people.
Oh yeah.
Um, so my official prediction is going to be, you gotta say Austin.
Oh, I was trying to get your
Austin
drum
wins.
roll. I mean, it won't. It won't. I mean, and once again, this is like the same as you know. I understand why he'd win, like, but it just feels like why hasn't McAfee got one? Like McAfee's legit got not. I feel like he hasn't come up. He hasn't got one up on. Well, maybe I guess he has once, maybe with Finn, but was it that Finn helping him or something? Like, yeah, it just feels like Theory and McMahon have just every corner. Like, so do you think Vince McMahon involves himself in this match, Craig?
um, I don't see it. I picture a backstage segment before he goes out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him at ringside though.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I can definitely, believe it would happen.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just not picturing it. I think it's gonna be like just a one-on-one match and just crazy high spots and McAfee diving all over the place.
Yeah.
He's going to steal the show as far as, most impressive performer, but in a losing effort.
Yeah.
So, he's going to be able. On the other hand, he'd be able to brag about beating Austin Theory, and that doesn't help Austin Theory out at all. To be stacking all these wins and then lose to the announcer.
Yeah.
So, how do you carry that forward? So
that's why I'm a little hesitant on my call, but at the same time, I just feel like McAfee hasn't got enough ups. I feel like he hasn't come out on top that often, if ever. So against this whole thing. So
true. But the other thing is with McAfee being on SmackDown and Austin being on Raw, that McAfee could win it and then they carry on as if nothing happened. So there's that.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Michael Cole's won a match at WrestleMania, Greg. So
right.
He's got one more win than Sasha Banks right now at WrestleMania. So who would have ever thought? This is another one. I mean, should I just get out my coin and flip it up like heads or tails? Because I could see a call for both guys, but I'm going to say Edge because he's starting the new look, or not new. He's transitioned himself, reinvented himself. Sorry, that was the word I'm looking for. Also, I'm hearing he might be forming a faction soon, which is interesting. We'll get into that in just a minute, Greg, but after our predictions and see where you think about that. But I just feel like, I think this is going to be another one like Cody and Seth. This is probably going to go for a couple months or a few months. I don't think this is a one-off. So that's why I think Edge could get out on top this time. And then, AJ could get back at Backlash and they go back and forth. But what's your official prediction for this? And then I'll float out the idea that I've been seeing about this new faction that Edge could form, Greg.
Yeah. This tonight is so loaded with such awesome matches. Mm-hmm. Like everything seems to be, 5-star bagger quality. This is, technically is going to hands down be the best match of the night. I do expect a more, sadistic kind of Edge.
Yeah.
Bordering on Malachi Black type of territory.
Yeah.
With, him going to the dark side, so to speak. So, and AJ's the perfect foil for him. I've been riding with both of these guys for the longest. AJ going all the way back to his TNA days. Edge since his Team Extreme days, 5-second pose days. But for this match, see, I'm even going to go with the visual aid right here. Can you see that?
Oh, there it is. Yep.
They don't want none. They don't want none.
There you go. We'll help you. We'll do. There you go. Now you can see it. Yeah, and AJ hasn't. I mean, talk about AJ's status at WrestleMania, though, Greg. I mean, so what? Let's see: Jericho, Shane, Undertaker, Nakamura. Who else am I missing? Oh, last year, the Street Profits, or no, was it? I can't remember who. He won the tag team titles, but that's a pretty strong WrestleMania, career. But so here's the faction idea I'm hearing, Greg. Damian Priest possibly linked up with Edge, and that makes a lot of sense to me. Yeah. And I'm starting to wonder. Ciampa's kind of a psychotic guy at times. Could you maybe go that route and maybe Ciampa shows up with Edge? I don't think it happens, but I was just, I don't know if they'll do just Edge and Damian Priest for a little bit. But if you're going to do a faction, I feel like you need a few guys. So what do you think about Edge kind of teaming up with Damian Priest to kind of get him more sadistic, I guess, if you want to call it that?
I like it. I figure if Edge was to pick a protege, he would pick Damian Priest. They, same, type of stature. They have the same type of vibe with their characters. Priest is doing, the dark path kind of thing. And he's always been, pretty metal guy. And Edge has
Yeah.
always been a pretty metal guy. Those similarities, you know, you can see why he would choose Priest to be somebody that he wants to,
Kind of
help
bring
down the
up.
road.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I definitely buy that. Champa would be fun just because he's type of the older version of Priest, kind of.
Hmm.
The old vet, he already has that sadistic edge, but
Hmm.
would kind of be like an enforcer kind of
Yeah.
presence in the group. So,
I think
the
Priest is actually older than Champa, which is funny. Because
which is funny,
I'm
yeah.
looking
But
up. I think Damian Priest is. Let's see. Oh, he's born in 80. Oh, so he's like 39. And then I wonder what Champa is because I was trying to figure out. Um, anyways, yeah, but it's weird to think like, well, they didn't make. Oh, Champa's 36. So yeah, Priest is even older than, you know, Champa, which is funny because Champa looks like
yeah,
he looks older than now. Granted, they did make him dye his beard, so he looks a little bit younger. But is this the possible show stealer of the night, match stealer of the night?
it has a lot of competition up against it. Like I said, McAfee and Austin Theory, I got in that top slot right now, but this could definitely be the one. So I think between those two matches, that we're definitely going to get our show stealer.
Now I do think this is gonna be one of those, like, I think it's gonna take a little bit to get going. And I hope that, I think it's gonna turn off people. But with the way that Edge has been positioned, it makes sense to kind of, slow it down and make a plotting match, but it could still end up pretty strong because of where it's heading. So I think
Yeah.
the start doesn't necessarily mean what the finish is type stuff with this match. So, and then here we go. I don't know where the hell to call this one, Greg. I'll let you go first. Are you all Team Brock? You all
I,
Team Brock?
you know what, man? I love it because you look at this match and you can make a case for both of them.
Hmm.
Um, you know, Roman has the streak. He has undefeated as the head of the table.
Yeah.
There don't seem to be any challengers, left for him to beat. Uh, and who is that guy? But it's Brock. Brock is Brock, and my whole thinking of it is that he can lose during this head of the table reign and get it back. Um, Nothing is lost in the process. It give more reason to continue out the storyline to where he gets it, maybe back at SummerSlam or something.
Hmm.
Um, so it doesn't affect, the gimmick, anything. It may actually make it more fun with the roles reversed and him being angry that he's not the guy who's the first
Hmm.
unified champ.
Unified champ. Okay. Yeah.
Um, and he can still get it back in plenty of time to start another win streak, roll into next WrestleMania with The Rock, and
Hmm.
then whatever happens there happens. I think it's more likely here that he would lose it than next year against The Rock, because
Yeah.
unless Rock's going to commit to a year back in the ring,
Hmm.
I don't see him beating or Rock beating him, because what's Rock going to do? Take the title and then give it up the next night?
Yeah.
Is so looking forward, it would make more sense that Brock wins. Brock's there. He's showing up. He's doing his own thing right now. By himself as a solo act. No Paul Heyman, and it's been amazingly effective. Um, and the titles can always change hands down the road. So, and they didn't take the fact that Roman's got the upper hand in all the big uh,
Spots.
matches. So Madison Square Garden, that just happened. Day one. So everything is fell in Roman's favor. So I think there's got to be a moment where Brock gets the upper hand, and this is no better place.
Now, and I guess the big question is, do they actually go through with the unified title, or do they just have him whoever wins this match holding both titles until they're ready to separate them again. Which one do you think happens, Greg? Do you think they're just going to hold both titles and act like it's unified until they're ready to split them up again?
No, I think there's going to be a brand new title that signifies the unified championship.
Okay.
And if they split it again, it won't be until the draft.
Yeah. Whenever
and then they can bring out the multicolored belts again. But I think there's going to be a whole different belt that signifies there's one champion. And that's what's going to be what they're wearing tomorrow.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm going Roman. I just think, and he brought it up, The Rock. I think, Stone Cold ending last night. I think you have The Rock show up tonight to confront Roman, and then you have your year-long build to next year. And I think Roman could still win next year with the title. And like you said, maybe he loses it in the meantime and then gets it back. But I think ultimately you got to be booking for Roman and Rock next year in LA, in Hollywood, especially if you say you put Rock in the Hall of Fame next year, just to kind of give that extra oomph too. Even though, I was thinking about last night, Greg. So our Hall of Fame next year, you could probably do Triple H. You could probably do Batista. You could probably do The Rock. Next year could be any one of those guys as your headliner. It's probably going to be Triple H, right? Now that he's officially retired, there's no doubt that. But Batista hasn't got his moment yet, so why not, let Batista have it? Especially like we said, in Hollywood. So next year's Hall of Fame could be really interesting to watch.
Right, but Rock hasn't officially retired though.
That's true. Oh yeah.
So I don't see him doing it for that reason. But like I said, with the whole Rock versus Roman, do you really see Rock beating Roman?
No.
And that's my point, is that you're going to do this whole build for a year only to have Roman retain. It's more feasible that Brock wins. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. Like I said, you can argue for both of them. And neither, but then again, where do you go with Brock for next year? Or we'll just worry about that next year. Because I always feel like Brock is kind of planned ahead as well. You know what I mean?
Hey, where you can go with Brock next year is Gable Steveson. Gable Steveson gets a year of polish.
Last night.
They did. With the similarities, NCAA wrestling champion, the amateur background, the championships.
Following the same path? Yeah.
Right. If anybody matches up with Gable Steveson, it would be Brock Lesnar. And they could have matched that they could have, leaning on their amateur skills and Brock being the guy that puts him over, being the alpha male of our species, as McAfee likes to say. That's a rocket ship to the moon right there. Yeah. Maybe more so than him beating Reigns.
Yeah. You did wonder if Steveson would be on TV sooner rather than later, now that they brought him out last night. They did bring him last year, but that's after he won the gold medal, and they brought out the women's wrestling champion. So I hadn't even thought about Gable Steveson, but yeah, that could be something to watch as well. So, because like I said, I think it's Roman and Rock, no matter what. Or I think you're trying to bank on that next year.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt.
There's just too much there that, we haven't even touched Rock and Roman yet. So why not give us that WrestleMania? So, but yeah, I'm just curious. I do think too, we'll see some blood in this match, right? Because they keep talking about blood for blood.
Right.
I think it's going to be a pretty stiff match. I think there's going to be maybe not legit shots, but I think there's going to be harder than usual shots in this match. Do you kind of see that happening, Greg?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially at the Madison Square.
Yeah. Well, then remember the last match they had. Well, remember at WrestleMania 32, right? I mean, there were some legit shots from Brock to Roman, so Brock's probably due some receipts from that. So yeah. How about
Hey,
this?
do you want to
Any
really piss that guy off too much? I mean,
well,
ask Randy
no.
Orton about what happens.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
So, he was the baddest man on the planet for a bit, you
Yeah.
know, legitimately, when he won the UFC heavyweight
Hmm.
championship. So
Yep.
you don't want to go too far with that guy.
So I guess the last question we saw, Cody Rhodes last night. Any surprises tonight that we can predict? Like, I still feel like there's got to be Bray. There just seems like there's smoke there, there's fire there, but I don't know where he fits. You know what I mean? It's not like he could just show up and do a segment or something like that. And I guess we don't have any women's title matches tonight, so there's no reason for Bayley to show up, no real reason for Asuka to show up. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't have any names. Like I feel like it's just gonna be a straight up kind of whoever's there tonight is there.
Yeah, and the only possibility that even makes sense would be if Roman beats Brock,
The Rock.
somebody coming out on the stage, as he's celebrating and somebody else's music hits.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, I don't even know who it would be. Aside from Rock, which it may be too soon, um, but if you want to really,
If
start
you really want to
building,
build it, I think you build it a
where
year. I mean,
better?
yeah. I mean, The Rock
Um,
has always done the year-long builds anyway, so you
right.
know, and you can have him show up at Survivor Series time or Royal Rumble time. I mean, you can have Roman kind of ignore it maybe if Roman wins and just pushes it aside until The Rock actually shows up to confront, something like that. So I
Yeah.
mean,
Or it
but
could happen where where when Rikishi and like the ancestors
Simonian, yeah,
all come out on the stage, and you think they're going to come down to salute Roman, and they kind of
move out of the way
flank
for
the
Rock.
sides of the you're right, and Rock comes out, his music hits, and he comes out and he stands in the middle,
Like
flanked
they're
by
embracing
the
him.
ancestry.
Oh,
Right.
I do like that
So,
idea.
so
Yeah,
I can see something like that. That would be fun.
that would. His mom was in the crowd last night. The Rock's mom was there, and the grandma, I believe. So where there's smoke, there's fire. But so is Ric Flair. If you didn't see him tweeting out that Ronda and Charlotte was the best women's wrestling match ever, but that's whatever. Rick might have been in a. He's divorced now, Greg. He might have been, a little heavy into something. So, anyways, but
No,
yeah, I like
he
the other.
wouldn't be
I like.
biased or anything.
Yeah, he would never be biased at all. I do like that idea though, like where it's, yeah, they've tried to embrace Roman, but now they can't embrace him anymore. Like he's just too far gone, and they bring out their own try.
Yeah,
But
especially if he does something underhanded to beat Brock.
yeah. Oh well, we know what that is. The old low blow. I mean, it's if AJ Styles isn't getting low blown, it's Brock, right? I mean, they both kind of take it. So yeah, I'm I'm saying 90% tonight that The Rock shows up. And of course, it would be kind of weird because you had Austin closing last night and you have The Rock closing. Like, who would have thunk in 2022 you could have Austin closing a night of WrestleMania and The Rock closing a night of WrestleMania? But, it is WrestleMania season. So,
Yeah, bring out the
yeah,
big guns.
bring out the big guns, literally. So, anything else we got for the good of the cause, Greg?
I'm just excited for tonight, and then maybe even more excited for tomorrow night because night after is going to be
Yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah.
Talking about who's going to show up.
Mhm.
I think it's going to be a cavalcade of stars that we haven't
Veer.
seen in a while.
Veer's going to be there, Greg.
Oh my good. Well, there we go. Clear my
They
calendar.
somebody did joke. They go, we noticed they didn't put a date. They just said April 4th, so it could be April 4th, 2024 or April 4th, 2025. But yeah, we'll see Veer coming to Monday Night. Have you seen some of his Instagram or tweets? So he's ready to go, Greg. He's just all dressed up and tweeting from really extravagant looking places. So he's doing okay for not being on TV for as long as he has, I think. So I don't know if he's saved up money somewhere or something, but yeah. So anyways, but yeah, the Raw after Mania is always a fun one, and I kind of feel like they're trying to build up the SmackDown one now too. You wonder, so trying to make that big, but enjoy the night. Enjoy this weekend. It's our Super Bowl weekend, so
exactly.
We got Kansas and North Carolina playing on Monday night, so that should be interesting.
Boo! Yeah. Go Kansas!
I mean, hey, North Carolina gave Coach K his first loss ever, I believe, and now they gave his last loss. So, I don't know if you saw, Greg, but Coach K finished 50-50, like 50 wins for Duke and 50 wins for North Carolina in their rivalry when he was there. So that's so crazy. And I think the point spread was like 10 points, like total points between the two. Like that's how evenly matched those schools are when it comes to, that type of stuff. But I'm going to enjoy the night. Like I said, I think some of the matches tonight won't be as high octane as last night, but they'll still get to where they need to go. So, especially that AJ and Edge. Like we know how Edge's match has been going, so we just got to take that for what it is. But yeah,
well, you can spread out the comic relief matches throughout the card, so it's not so
heavy.
Doesn't get so heavy. You start off with the New Day. Halfway you put in the McAfee match, and then as the palate cleanser before the main event, you throw in the Jackass match. So,
and I almost thought they were going to give us New Day Ridge, Sheamus before Stone Cold segment and the KO show, but I thought that'd be the kind of the fluffer match in a way. But then as time kept going, I'm like, oh, they're not going to have time for that. Like, even if you want to give it a few minutes. So at least they're giving up tonight. This is the only good thing about two-night WrestleMania, Greg. Like, if they got cut last night, they're cut. Like they ain't, they're not going to be on anything. So have we talked, like, do you like the two nights? I do. I really think
it's starting to grow on me. I'm just thinking back to the one I went to at 33, and we got to the stadium at 2 in the afternoon, and we didn't leave until midnight. So it was a very long day getting everything in at once. So breaking it up into 2, 3, 3.5 hour, bite-sized pieces is a lot more palatable.
Yeah.
But from a cost standpoint, it's going to hurt you real bad. So I like getting all of it at once, even if it took longer. But I see why they are doing the two nights and are probably going to stick with the two nights for the time being. So I'm still on the one night bandwagon, just because I'm a creature of habit and like it the old way. But it's starting to pull me to the two nights.
Yeah, I feel like, and even do we throw more matches that might not be there? Probably, but that's getting more guys on and girls on WrestleMania. I mean, and ultimately, that's the end goal. So, well, thank you for watching. Enjoy the evening. Enjoy the day. Get some rest because I think we're in for another long night tonight. So, get your body, mind right for tonight. So, and we're good to go tomorrow morning. We'll give you one more day, kind of look ahead at Raw, SmackDown, maybe what could happen. Maybe catch up on AEW, maybe what is ahead for that week as well. So lots of stuff to talk about as we head into tomorrow night as well. So thank you for watching. Enjoy the day.
Peace.